Hello and welcome to another edition of Another Book Review. This week I'll be reviewing Jennifer Egan's Manhattan Beach. I'll talk a little bit about my history with the author, go into a brief, spoiler-free overview of the plot, talk about what I liked about the book, what I did not like about the book, who I would recommend the book to, and finally what I'll be reading next time. So Jennifer Egan is an author who I believe won the Pulitzer Prize for A Visit from the Goon Squad. That is a book I've reviewed earlier for the channel. If you want to go check that out, I will have a link in the comments below. Also have a little bit about her background, a little bit more about her background in that video if you want to check that out. So Manhattan Beach is set during, right before and during World War II. It's about a family in New York City centered around the oldest daughter, Anna, as she comes of age right before the Second World War. She is, I believe, 20 during the time of the Second World War. And the novel centers around her family and her father's disappearance from that family. He gets involved in some underworld dealings, and the novel really is about how she comes to grip with her father's disappearance, as well as how it impacts the rest of her family, including her aunt, her mother, and her sister, who has a physical disability. So that's a brief overview of the plot. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it kind of hummed as far as how quickly I went through it. I read it in 2 days. I thought the overarching mystery of the father's disappearance really propels you through it. I think it's very well written. There's a couple of spots where the details of what the character Anna is doing in terms of her working in the shipyard, I thought I could have done without some of that stuff, but other than that, I thought the book really hummed. I really enjoyed the way that Jennifer Egan built this character. I thought was complex, who had her own inner world, and you could definitely feel how she was being tugged in different directions. I thought that was well done. I thought the side characters, for the most part, were interesting. I liked all those things. The use of language, I thought, like I said, was no frills is maybe a little bit of a backhanded compliment, but I mean that in the best of ways. I felt that like you understood at all times really what was going on, except for, like I said, maybe some sprinklings here and there when it gets into language dealing with nautical in the sea due to the plot. I thought she also did a good job, because it is historical fiction, of sprinkling enough facts of that time and era to make it feel real to the characters without overloading or overbearing the reader. Some of the things that I maybe liked less, there are, like I said, I hummed through this, so I can't really complain about it too much, but there are parts of it that I probably would have either edited down or cut out of the novel. There's also some plot inferences that you have to kind of make. You have to kind of decide what the plot is, because there's not enough details for you to kind of get a firm grasping on some of the things. It's nothing that is, I don't think, integral to the plot overall. It's not going to hurt your enjoyment necessarily of the book, but there were some things I wanted a little bit more nailed down. There's some characters that we don't spend as much time as I would have liked with. There's one character in particular I think is handled a little poorly. There's some inferences made that I wish there had been more of a concrete reasoning for some things. Sorry to be vague on that, but I don't want to get into who that character is, because I think that they are somewhat of they're a side character, but they still are somewhat important to the overall plot. So that's Manhattan Beach. I was actually really relieved to read this. Maybe it's because it's a little bit more straightforward than A Visit from the Goon Squad, or maybe it's because there's not as much predicting prognostication into the future as far as what will happen, and because it is historical fiction. But I enjoyed this actually immensely. I really did enjoy this book. Jennifer Egan, like I said, I was kind of so-so on A Visit from the Goon Squad, and I enjoyed this a lot more. So I was pleasantly surprised. So I would recommend this to anyone who enjoyed her reading in the past, or if you just enjoy reading historical fiction, to be honest with you. I think you'll enjoy this a lot. If you enjoy kind of crime elements to things, but where they are secondary to family and familial issues and questions and problems, I definitely got kind of a Miller's Crossing vibe with this. So if you're familiar with that movie, I think you'll enjoy this. So that's my review of Manhattan Beach. And next time I'm going to be reading Joshua Ferris's novel To Rise again at a decent hour. Until next time, like I said, I'll have that link to the earlier video in the comments. Please feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment if there's anything you feel I missed. Until next time, bye.